cleaned a better copy to you, and I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
On September 13th, 2016, a call came into Ashland's emergency line. The woman speaking was almost impossible to hear. She stayed quiet, kept her voice low, and only gave pieces of information at a time. The pauses between her words made it clear she wasn't alone, and that whoever she was with couldn't know she was calling for help. The address she gave led officers to an abandoned house on the edge of town. They found her alive, and they found the man who had been hiding there. But what they didn't expect was what the call would lead to. It didn't only save her, it opened the door to everything he'd been doing, long before that night. The caller was being held by a man named Sean Michael Great. He was born in Marion, Ohio in 1976, and although people remembered him as friendly when he was young, his home life was broken from an early age. His parents divorced just before his 6th birthday, and when he was 11, his mother left the family entirely. According to his half-sister, the tension between them was obvious long before she moved away. As a teenager, he started showing behavior that didn't match how others remembered him. A girl he dated in high school said he would sometimes lie on the couch for days without speaking to anyone. A court psychiatrist later described him as a withdrawn kid shaped by years of instability at home. By the time he was a young adult, the problems in his personal life were already visible. In 1994, he was arrested for grabbing a girlfriend, Christina Hildreth, by the throat. Not long after that, he was caught breaking into a house with a younger accomplice, stealing jewelry and money. He was charged with felony burglary and sent to prison, though he didn't stay long. When he got out, he moved through different towns and relationships, drifting between homes and jobs, leaving behind a trail of complaints and incidents that never led to anything more serious at the time. By the time police reached that abandoned house in 2016, they still had no idea who they were dealing with. All they knew was that a woman was being held there. It was only after his arrest that investigators began connecting him to a series of disappearances stretching back a decade, cases that had gone cold for years and were never linked to one another until his name appeared in all of them. The earliest case tied to him was a woman named Dana Nicole Lowry. She was 23 and traveling across the country selling magazines. She kept in touch with the father of her daughters during her trip, calling him from different states as she moved from place to place. In May of 2006, she told him she was in Ohio, and then the calls stopped. For years, people close to her assumed she had decided to start over somewhere else. But what actually happened was far different. Sean told investigators that Dana had sold a magazine subscription to his mother and never delivered it, believing she scammed her. He later found her, convinced her to get into his car by telling her he wanted to buy more magazines, and brought her back to his home. In the backyard, he strangled her until she lost consciousness, then dragged her into the basement and stabbed her in the neck with a kitchen knife. He wrapped her body in sheets and left it along Victory Road, then returned home to burn the items covered in blood before going back to the site to burn the body. Nearly 10 years after Dana Lowry, another disappearance would be traced back to him. In early 2015, he met a woman named Rebecca Lisi. She was 31 and working in sex work at the time. The two met in a bar, and at some point, later on in the night, she took $4 from him. According to his later confession, that was the reason why he killed her. He strangled her and left her body behind. When authorities first found her, they believed she had died from an overdose. There was nothing at the scene that pointed to anything else. It was only after Sean's arrest that detectives learned what had actually happened, and her cause of death was re-examined in light of what he told them. Another woman tied to him was Candace Cunningham. She was 29 and had been in an on-and-off relationship with him for about 5 years. People around her thought she had settled into something stable, and for a long time there was nothing that suggested she was in danger. When he was arrested in 2016, he told officers there was another body they hadn't located. He took them to a property in Richland County behind a burned-out house and said the remains there were Candace. He told investigators he killed her in June of that year after keeping her there for several days. In his statement, he described her as a problem. The Richland County Sheriff's Office would later confirm that the remains were hers. 2 more women disappeared in the months before the 911 call. Stacey Stanley, also known as Stacey Hicks, went missing in early September 2016. Her family had reported her disappearance days earlier and had been searching for her ever since. She was 43 and had recently moved back into the area to be closer to her relatives. Around the same time, another woman named Elizabeth Griffith had been missing for nearly a month. She was 29 and lived with mental health challenges that made her disappearance especially worrying to the people who knew her. Her family had been in contact with police, hoping for any update, but there was nothing that pointed to where she had gone or who she had been seen with last. His final victim, the woman in the 911 recording, is known publicly only as Jane Doe. She met Sean through a neighbour, a woman she often talked to at her apartment complex. The 3 of them would occasionally spend time together, and Sean used those moments to build trust with her. They played badminton outside, talked casually, and he presented himself as someone friendly and harmless. In reality, he had already moved into a vacant house in Ashland after breaking into it earlier that summer. He spent most of his days there, drifting between shelters, churches, and the Salvation Army, where he met another woman he grew close to. He hid his behavior well enough that none of the people around him realized what he was doing. Jane Doe eventually felt comfortable enough to follow him into the house. Once she was inside, he stopped letting her leave. Over the next 2 days, he tied her to a bed and assaulted her repeatedly. She later told investigators he attacked her in every way imaginable, often while quoting Bible passages or talking to her as if they were having a normal conversation. He kept her restrained the entire time. When she tried to push him away, he choked her until she stopped resisting. He gave her pills, tied her hands above her head, and recorded the assaults on his phone. She said she spent most of those days trying to stay conscious and waiting for any chance to escape. And that chance came late into the second night. Sean eventually fell asleep beside her, and a phone was left on the bed within reach. She listened to him breathing, waited for his body to go completely still, and tried to slide her hands far enough through the restraints to reach the phone. Even the ringtone barely made him move. Once she managed to hold it, she dialed 911 with her hands still tied. She whispered into the receiver, careful not to make any sound loud enough to wake him.
911, what is the address to your emergency?
By the Street Laundromat.
What is it?
4th Street Laundromat.
What's the problem?
I've been abducted.
What's your name? How do you spell your last name? Who abducted you?
Sean Green.
You said John Green?
Sean Great.
Where's he at now?
Asleep.
Where's he sleeping at?
In the bedroom.
In what bedroom?
There's 2 houses right by the Laundry Street. And it's in one of those houses.
But you're at the laundromat?
No, I'm in the bedroom with them.
What color's the house? Is it across? If I'm looking at the laundromat, which way is it?
If you're looking in the laundromat, it's one on the left of the 2.
You don't know what color the house is?
Yellow. Please hurry.
Does he have a car?
No. Well, he's down the street.
So what's your phone number you're calling me from?
I don't know.
And you think it's a yellow house?
I think so, but it's on the left.
Is it an apartment?
No, it's a house.
Okay, does he own the house?
No, he broke into it.
Does anybody actually live there?
I think they've been abandoned.
And his name is Sean Great?
Yes.
Like Grate?
Yes.
Does he have a weapon?
He's got a taser.
Where do you live? What does he look like? Is he a white male or a black male?
White.
Is he like 6 foot or is he shorter than that?
He's like 6'1", 6'2".
Do you know how much he weighs?
Probably 175.
Are you injured?
A little.
What color is his hair?
Brown.
Do you know what color his eyes are? What's he wearing?
Nothing right now.
Okay, stay on the phone with me. Stay on the line with me, okay? Is he still sleeping?
Yes.
Where did he take you from?
My apartment. I mean, I was walking with him.
You were walking with him?
Mm-hmm.
Where were you walking to?
I've known him for like a month and a half.
Is there any way you can get out of the building?
I don't know without waking him, and I'm scared.
Is there a bathroom in the house?
Well, his bedroom is closed, and he made it so it would make noise.
And if you told him you had to go to the bathroom, he would do something to you?
Yeah, because he had me tied up.
Are you tied up now?
Well, yeah, but I kind of freed myself.
Is he in the same room with you?
Yes.
Is it his phone you have?
Yes. Are they on the way?
Yeah, we have officers we're sending.
Please send them up.
Okay, if you're worried you don't have to talk, you can just set the phone down, okay? I just need to hear if the officers find you or not. Are you upstairs or are you downstairs?
We're downstairs. There's a door. There's a side door on the right of the left house, and that's where we enter. Immediately there's a kitchen right there, and then the bedroom is right off from the kitchen.
Okay. Do you need an ambulance? Are you bleeding from anywhere?
Not anymore.
What were you bleeding from? You don't have to talk if you don't need to, okay? Do you know where he lives?
No. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I woke him up.
You just set the phone down. still there?
How much longer?
You what?
How much longer?
Do you hear any officers outside?
No.
Okay, they're in the area.
See if they can come in the side door still, like, softly.
Is there a padlock on the bedroom door, or is it just a regular lock?
No, I don't even know if it's locked. It doesn't have a knob, so
Can you get up and see if you can get out?
I'm afraid of waking him. If I knew the cops were right there, I would do it. I don't even know if it opens, how it opens.
Is there a window around there you can look out?
Yeah, but the floor squeaks in, it's right by his head.
Are you laying down?
No, I'm standing right by the bedroom door.
And you can't open it?
What?
Can you open it?
I'm afraid without making noise.
Is the door to the house open?
I don't know, probably, maybe. I don't think he has a key, I'm not sure. Because I think he broke in here.
Can you see out any window that you're at?
They're all curtains shut.
What's that? What's that noise?
I don't hear anything.
If you think you can get out, you need to get out.
Not unless they were right here. He would hear me, catch me, and he's strong.
He's on the first floor. Are you at the house closest to the laundromat or the other one? Are you the one closest to the laundromat or the other one?
We were standing in the laundromat looking at the two houses. It would be on the left.
If you're looking out of the laundromat, so if you're looking at the laundromat, you're the one on the right. At the laundromat. She said if you're looking at the laundromat, you're the one on the left.
Side door. Side door.
And the side door. The side door to the right.
Okay, I can hear him.
You hear him?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you think you can get out? Are you out of the bedroom?
Yes. It doesn't have a doorknob. You need to push.
The door doesn't have a doorknob?
No.
Can you see them?
No, have them push the door a little.
He said push the door. Are they on the other side of the door?
Yeah, I think so.
She said have you guys push the door. There's no doorknob there.
Just push it slowly. Where'd they go?
Can you get out of the bedroom?
And the door doesn't have a knob.
If you're looking all on the mat, it's on the left. If you're looking out on the mat, come in. The same thing. Can you hear anybody right now?
I heard the side door open.
She heard the side door open.
No. I'm out of the bedroom.
You're out? Okay, can you get to the door where you can see out? Huh? Can you get out of the house? It's locked. Are you at the door?
Yeah, I am.
She's at the door. You're on the door to the right-hand side of the house.
Yeah.
She's at the door on the right side of the house. She got out of the bedroom. Is there a window there?
Yeah, I'm looking out and they tell me to come back.
She said,
Hurry, hurry.
she said to hurry up and come back. Can you?
Yeah, they can see me if they come
locked.
to it.
The door is locked. No, the bedroom door had no door handle. This one, it's locked. You can't get out. Can you unlock the door at all?
Come on out. Hurry up. Get out of here. Where is he?
Bedroom sleeping.
Still sleeping?
Yeah.
Okay, they have her.
He went unarmed.
Unarmed?
Yeah.
All right. You need to go. Take that. Where are you? Oh, okay. Go on in. Here's the blanket. Well, if you can't be in there, here, cover yourself up. Tell me what happened. What happened?
When police entered the house, they found Jane Doe. Sean had only just woken up. Officers removed him from the room and began searching the property. Inside the house, they found the body of Elizabeth Griffith, who had been missing for about a month. Her remains were hidden upstairs under clothing and bedding. In the basement, they found the body of Stacey Stanley. Both women had been strangled. The search didn't end there. Once Sean was in custody, he began talking. He told investigators about other women he killed and where they could find them. He led police to the remains of Candice Cunningham in neighbouring Richland County. Her body was behind a burned house. She had endured days of abuse before he killed her. He also admitted to killing Rebecca Lisi earlier that year. A grand jury indicted him on 23 counts, including aggravated murder, kidnapping, and assault. His attorneys entered a plea of not guilty, then attempted an insanity defense, but multiple evaluations found he was competent. During pre-trial hearings, prosecutors said they would seek the death penalty because of the extreme violence in the case. Sean continued speaking to reporters from jail until the court issued a gag order. Once the trial began, he showed no remorse. In 2018, he was found guilty of murdering Stacey Stanley and Elizabeth Griffith and was sentenced to death. Over the next year, he pleaded guilty to the murders of Lisi, Cunningham, and Lowry. He received multiple life sentences to run consecutively. His execution has been delayed because of ongoing appeals. Ohio no longer uses lethal injection, but has no alternative method in place. For now, he remains on death row. It's disturbing to think about how long Sean Great moved around without anyone realizing what he'd done. He killed multiple women, hid their bodies, and kept going like nothing had happened. No one noticed. No one connected anything. And the only reason any of this stopped was because one woman made a phone call. Jane Doe waited for the one moment she had, reached that phone with her hands tied, and saved her own life. If she hadn't done that, there's no telling what would have happened to her. But it's impossible not to wonder how many others never had the chance she did, and how close he came to getting away with it again. In 2012, a phone call was made to King Edward VII's Hospital in London. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, was being treated there during the early stages of her pregnancy. The caller pretended to be Queen Elizabeth II, asking to speak with her, and ended up talking with the nurses inside the hospital. It was meant to be a joke, a quick stunt for the radio to laugh at and move on. But it didn't stay that way, because while the recording itself isn't disturbing, what happened because of it definitely is. The woman at the receiving end of the phone call was Jacintha Saldanha, a 46-year-old nurse working at King Edward VII's Hospital. She had moved to the UK from India about 10 years earlier and split her time between the nurses' quarters in London and her family home in Bristol, where her husband and 2 children lived. Before coming to England, she had trained as a nurse in Mangalore. Friends from that time remembered her as generous and deeply committed to her work. She was known for small acts of kindness on her night shifts, sharing food and helping patients feel comfortable during long hours. The hospital she worked in was private and often cared for high-profile patients. Staff were expected to be discreet, careful, and precise, and Jacintha had built a reputation for doing exactly that. She was simply a nurse doing her job in a place where mistakes could attract far more scrutiny than most people ever experience. In December of 2012, the Duchess of Cambridge was admitted to King Edward VII's Hospital. She was pregnant and being treated for severe morning sickness, and the news instantly became a global headline. Cameras were outside the hospital, reporters covered every update, and the pressure around anyone connected to her care grew overnight. On the 4th of December, at around 5:30 in the morning in London, 2 Australian radio hosts from a show called Hot 30 Countdown, Mel Gregg and Mike Christian, decided to call the hospital. Their idea was simple: pretend to be the Queen and Prince Charles and see if anyone would put them through. And the prank itself seemed fairly harmless. Their accents were over the top and comedic, and even one of the other hosts in the room pretended to be the Queen's famous corgis at one point. At that hour, Jacintha was the night sister on duty. She was the most senior nurse working at the time, meaning she was the only one to answer external calls. Protocol said she should verify anyone claiming to be a member of the royal family. Even if the Queen herself phoned, the call had to be checked. But that didn't happen. She picked up the phone, heard the voices on the other end, and transferred the call to the nurse caring for the Duchess. The hosts stayed in character, and for almost 2 minutes they received medical details about Kate's condition. The entire conversation was recorded, and a few days later, it was broadcasted.
We've been handed a phone number, all right? And we have been told that this phone number is the hospital where Kate Middleton is currently staying. Now, we thought we'd give it a call. We don't want to cause any trouble.
Yeah.
We don't want to stress her out because she's doing it tough.
Yep.
But I reckon we can maybe get her on the radio tonight.
Look, I don't know. I mean, everybody would be trying
Well,
this.
this is why I thought of a plan. We can't just ring up and go, "Hi, it's MC and Mel from the Summer 30. Can we chat to Kate?" Hang up. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
You are going to be the Queen.
This is awesome.
I'm going to be Prince Charles.
Hello, I'm the Queen.
Ben and Em, you're involved in this as well. We thought that maybe you could be the royal corgis, if you're okay with that. Yes, exactly.
Sure, we'll pop on in a sec.
Come into the studio. I'm going to dial this number.
This is fun. Oh, I mean, this is fun.
Yes, yeah. So you're going to be the Queen.
Hello, I'm the Queen.
Hello, Prince Charles over here,
Oh, you're
mummy.
Prince Charles. I like your ears.
And Ben and Em are going to be the royal corgis. So let's
be serious.
let's give this hospital a call.
Okay.
And see if we can get Kate Middleton or maybe even Prince Wills on the phone tonight. So the number's going in. Oh, jeez, I hope this happens.
Hello, good morning, King Edward VII Hospital.
Oh, there. Could I please speak to Kate, please, my granddaughter?
Oh, yes, just hold on, ma'am.
Thank you.
Are they putting us through?
Yes.
If this has worked, it's the easiest prank call we've ever made. Your accent sucked, by the way. I just want you to know.
I'm not used to playing old 80-year-olds.
What about this one?
Kate, my darling, are you there?
Good morning, Mum. This is the nurse speaking. How may I help you?
Hello, I'm just after my granddaughter, Kate. I want to see how her little tummy bug is going.
Mummy!
She's sleeping at the moment, and she has had an uneventful night. And sleep is good for her as we speak. She's been getting some fluids to rehydrate her because she was quite dehydrated when she came in. But she's stable at the moment.
Okay, I'll just feed my little corgis then. So when is a good time to come and visit her? Because I'm the Queen, so I need a lift down there. Prince Charles!
Mummy, is everything okay?
Oh, wait, my Charles. When can you take me to the hospital, Charles?
When will it be all right to come down and see her? Maybe in the morning or something, if that's okay.
I would suggest that any time after 9 o'clock would be suitable because the doctor will be in the morning.
Okay.
And we'll just be getting her freshened up in the morning. I would think any time after 9.
Wonderful. And is Wills still there? Has he gone home? I haven't spoken to him yet.
He went home at about 9:30 actually probably about 9 o'clock last night.
Okay. Lovely. But they're all okay? Everything's all right?
Yes, she's quite stable at the moment. She hasn't had any retching with me since I've been on duty. And she has been sleeping on and off.
Wonderful.
I think it's difficult sleeping in a strange bed as well.
Yes, of course. It's hardly the palace, is it?
It's nothing like the palace, is it, Charles?
No.
And when are you going to walk those bloody corgis?
Mumsy, I'll go and take the dogs outside.
I need to go visit Kate in the morning. My dear, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. She was giving us real information.
Mumsy, I think that they believed everything that we just said.
I am the Queen. Bow for me. Bow for me.
Bow for you and your terrible accent.
After the call aired, Jacintha started to blame herself almost immediately. Colleagues later said she was visibly shaken. She told another night sister that someone claiming to be the Queen had phoned and that she had put the call through. She kept saying it was her mistake. That same night, she sent an email to a colleague. She wrote, "I feel so ashamed of myself. I don't know how to face the bosses tomorrow." Another nurse, the one who ended up speaking on the call after Jacintha transferred it, received a message from her too. It said, "It's all my fault. I feel very bad about this to get you involved. If there was anything I could do to mend this, I would do it. I'm very upset and don't know what to do. Things are all going in the wrong direction." At the same time, she was dealing with something else. The day before the prank, she had found out that a grievance filed against her by a junior nurse she had been mentoring had not been upheld. It had already left her anxious, and now both things were weighing on her at once. She emailed her matron the next day. In it, she apologized again. She wrote, "I feel very sorry for breaking security. I am ready for any punishment. Please do not hold the other nurses responsible for this." The hospital said she wasn't facing discipline. They said both nurses involved were offered support, and they told her they would speak to her when she felt ready. But outside the hospital, the story was everywhere. Headlines across the world were talking about the call, the audio, and the people involved. Suddenly, her name was part of something she had never asked to be in, and it quickly became too much for Jacintha. 2 days after the incident, Jacintha tragically took her own life. When she was found, she had left 3 handwritten notes. One of them blamed the radio stunt for what happened. Another listed how she wanted her funeral to be handled. And the last was directed at the hospital, criticizing how management dealt with the situation after the call. The presenters later appeared on television in Australia, saying they were devastated by the news. One of them, Mel Gregg, left radio for years and later said she became the target of non-stop online harassment. She eventually took legal action against the network for failing to protect her and reached a settlement. The station donated the rest of its advertising revenue for the year to a memorial fund for Jacintha's family and cancelled their Christmas party redirecting the money to mental health charities. In India, more than 1,000 people attended her funeral. Local officials and state ministers came to pay their respects. Students marched to the British High Commission in New Delhi, demanding justice. The Chief Minister of Karnataka wrote to the Indian Prime Minister, calling for better protection for Indian workers abroad. Investigators in London contacted authorities in Australia, but in the end, no criminal charges were filed. British prosecutors said that while laws had likely been broken, pursuing the presenters wasn't in the public interest. Legal battles continued for years, with regulators arguing the station violated broadcast rules by airing the call without consent. Eventually, the inquiry found the station had breached the code of conduct and ordered additional training and a broadcast dedicated to awareness of bullying, depression, and anxiety. But that was it. It's hard not to see this story as a chain of choices that spiraled far beyond what anyone involved expected. The call was meant to be a joke, a stupid idea, sure, and something that should never have made it to air. But the person caught in the middle of it was someone who wasn't built for the kind of spotlight that followed, someone who carried the weight of it alone and saw no way out. A prank that was supposed to make people laugh ended up taking the life of someone who never asked to be part of it, and nothing about the aftermath can ever make sense of that. On a Friday night in Warrington, Pennsylvania, in 2011, a man called 911. His voice was calm, steady, and polite, and he answered the dispatcher's questions without hesitation, telling him what had happened and where he was. The call ended the moment he finished speaking, as if he'd said everything he needed to. But when officers reached the address he gave them, they walked into something far worse than they expected, and the man who made the call was nowhere to be found. The man behind the phone call was Christopher Moyer, who was born in 1967 and grew up in Pennsylvania. He was the only child of Warren and Joyce Moyer and went to Kutztown University, where he eventually worked from home as a freelance computer specialist. People who knew him said he mostly kept to himself and wasn't very social, but there was nothing unusual enough to draw attention. His wife, Irina Geller Moyer, known to friends and neighbors by her middle name, Elizabeth, was born in Ukraine. She also worked in the computer field and kept a low profile. The two married in 2002, and their son Dylan was born the following year. In 2003, the family moved into a new house on Redstone Drive in Warrington. They didn't take part in neighborhood events, but they spoke with neighbors when needed and lived a quiet, predictable life. Nothing about the family stood out. Dylan was known at school for being bright and ahead of his age group. Teachers spoke well of him, and neighbors saw him playing outside from time to time. For nearly a decade, the household looked the same as any other in the neighborhood. A family that kept to itself, with a routine that never seemed unusual. But that changed on the night of June 17th, 2011. At around 9:40 p.m., the Bucks County 911 dispatch center received a call from a man in Warrington, Pennsylvania. He gave his name as Christopher Moyer, speaking in a voice that was calm, steady, and far too controlled for what he was about to report.
911, where's your emergency?
I need to report a murder.
Okay, where is that, sir?
167 Redstone Drive in Warrington.
157?
167.
Okay, can you tell me about what's going on there?
Mother and son, bludgeoned to death.
And you just found that?
Yes.
Okay, who are you?
I'm the husband.
Did you do it?
Yes, I did.
What's your name, sir?
Chris.
Last name?
Moyer.
M-O-Y-E-R?
Correct.
You're there now?
Yes.
Okay, 167 Redstone?
Correct.
Okay, are you sure they're dead?
I am positive.
Okay, are you still armed?
No.
Okay, I'll get somebody right out there for you, Chris.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When officers reached 167 Redstone Drive, they tried calling into the house before going inside, but no one answered back. They went in through the garage and worked their way upstairs, where the full extent of the call became clear. Elizabeth Moyer was found in the bathroom attached to the master bedroom. Evidence showed she had been struck while she was asleep, then moved from the bed to the bathroom floor, where a towel had been placed over her face. In a separate bedroom, 7-year-old Dylan was found in his bed with the same kind of head trauma. A bloodied baseball bat was on the floor nearby. Nothing in the house showed signs of a struggle, and investigators believed both victims were attacked before they ever had the chance to wake up. While police were inside the home, Elizabeth's parents arrived at the address. Dylan had been expected at their house earlier that day, and when the family never showed up and couldn't be reached, they drove to Warrington to check in. They arrived while officers were processing the scene and were told what had happened. But Christopher Moyer wasn't in the house. Before leaving, he had taped a typed note to the front door that listed the relatives to notify on both sides of the family. The final line of the note simply read, "Thank you." Investigators later learned that he'd also texted a relative as well, apologizing for what he had done. Officers searched the rooms, the yard, the surrounding streets, but there was no sign of him. For a moment, no one knew where he had gone or how long he'd been gone for. But a few hours later, that changed. Just after 1 a.m., Montgomery County Dispatch received a call about an incident on the rail line near Meadowbrook Avenue in Hatboro. When police arrived, they found Moyer's truck parked near the SEPTA tracks and his body on the rails nearby. Investigators determined that he placed his head on the track and waited for the train to come, leaving no one to charge and investigators with almost nothing to work with. There wasn't any note about a motive, no history of violence in the home, or anything that hinted at any danger inside that house. Court records showed the couple had never been charged with anything, and there were no police reports involving them. What they did find were hints that things had been difficult financially. Paperwork inside the house showed that their home, valued at around $450,000, had been hit with a state tax notice in 2010. A few years earlier, they had even come close to losing it before paying off what they owed. It didn't prove why any of this happened, but it showed a level of stress that the people around them never saw. And when police found Christopher's body a few hours later, they found $1,300 in cash in his pocket, along with messages he had sent to relatives apologizing for what he was about to do. By then, it was clear he had already accepted how the night was going to end. You see, some people appear calm when they've already made up their mind. They move through the steps like they've accepted the ending long before it happens, and this could explain why he came across so calm and collected in the 911 call. Maybe Christopher believed he was doing something he thought made sense. Maybe he convinced himself that taking his family with him was some kind of mercy. But none of that was real. Elizabeth and Dylan weren't in danger. They didn't need saving. There were 100 other paths this could have taken. But he chose the one that ended everything.